So there's quite a few updates this month, actually, considering it's a summer break, more than I was expecting. So first update here we've got is ContextAware Access. Now, out of interest, first of all, is anyone here actually using ContextAware Access, which is an Education Plus feature, which allows you to control access to apps based on devices and users? Maybe do a quick emoji or show your hand.
We do a raise hand in a meet.
Okay, I'm guessing not then, but if it's something you are thinking about, this could be useful. It's extending ContextAware Access to work with third-party apps as well. So you won't just be able to control access to Google apps, but those third-party apps your users will be using their school Google account with as well. So that's pretty cool. Now, this is one I'm really excited about and have asked from Google for many years now, ever since I first started using Google, the ability to annotate while presenting Google Slides. So I think this is going to be a hugely popular feature for teachers. Essentially, when you're presenting a slide deck, if you go to the bottom left menu, you'll be able to select a pen tool, and then that will let you annotate and draw over your slides while you're talking about them. So really pleased to finally see this feature being added. Long overdue, I think. This is going to be another very, very popular one, I think. So signatures in Google Docs. It's coming to Education Plus, and it will enable you to send documents out for signing. Essentially, what happens is you can insert some signature fields into your document and send it for signing, and Google Docs will generate a PDF which gets sent to the user you want to sign the document, and they can then sign and return that. So you can have a template in Docs which you use again and again for sending out contracts, policies for signing, and so on. So
just to add to that as well, this is another reason to upgrade to Education Plus, because, for example, we have a subscription to Dropbox Sign. There's also DocuSign is the main player in the market, and with this, it's another subscription. You don't need to renew. So I guess a few of you have electronic signatures subscriptions, and this is a great another one to cancel.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think with all the new features getting added to Education Plus, so things like YouTube Activity, for instance, wouldn't need a platform like Edpuzzle, and with these signatures, that reduces the need for other third-party products there. So yeah, really excited to see this one and get our hands on it. And there is a beta for it as well, which I posted in our community chat not too long ago. So if it's something you're interested in trialing, then yeah, please do fill out that beta request form. So Google Keep is getting some closer integration with Google Assistant. Google Assistant now does support some features on Google Workspace. So if you are using Google Assistant, then yeah, Keep will be coming to that soon as well. Gmail on mobile devices is getting some improved translation features, functioning with now 100 languages. So branding in Forms has been around for a little while, but now that functionality is also coming across to Google Slides. So you can have some more consistent branding across your slides and forms to make sure it all stays within your school brand and looks good. This is another Google Classroom feature I'm really excited to see. So this will enable teachers to share templates of classwork. So if you've got departments who want to share their best practices on Google Classroom, their resources, then they will be able to easily do that using this new feature. Again, there's a beta available for it, so you can use the form linked in the slide deck if that's something you're interested in trialing. But I remember when I was working at a college, this is something which a lot of people asked for. So yeah, really good to see about Google adding this. So you can now review suggested hints and add your own resources and more to practice sets. So practice sets, another Education Plus feature, was launched, was it earlier this year, I think, or was it late last year? So I'm sure you've all seen practice sets from the previous calls we've done, and you must have it on your own domains now if you're using Education Plus. But now, one of the most requested features was the ability for teachers to customize the hints and tips which would pop up during a test assignment. So now with this new feature, teachers can now customize those extra tips which students get. So really good to see Google listening to feedback there and extending that functionality to let teachers customize that feedback. So this one's more of an admin update, which will allow you to be a bit more granular on how you export data from your domain. So already in the admin console, you'd have a feature where you can export all of your domain's data and download that. Now with this extended feature, you can be a bit more accurate in terms of what you want to export exactly. So firstly, for all education editions, you can now, or will soon be able to export data just for a single user. So rather than a user going to use Google Takeout, for instance, you could perform that action for a user, or maybe you want to download a user's data for archiving purposes. You can also better filter the export results as well. But the interesting thing coming to Education Plus and Education Standard and Teaching Learning Upgrade editions is you can also export data on bulk for a group of users. So giving a nice in-between option, rather than doing the entire domain or a single user at a time, you can select a whole bunch of users and export their data in one go if you need to. I'm sure you may have already seen this in your admin console as well now. You can now control access to Google Forms in the same way as you do other Google apps. So if you wanted to turn off Google Forms for a particular OU or group of users, then you can do that. So Q&A moderation now available for Google Meet. So hosts can review and approve questions before they're shared with meeting attendees. So this just gives you a bit more control and breaks in live streams as well when you're using Q&A in Meet. Is anyone here using Canvas out of interest? Okay, well, if you are, there's some closer integration with Google coming soon, which lets you integrate Canvas more closely with Google Drive and allowing you to select and create files from within there as well on Google Drive. Another update to Google Chat. We've seen lots of updates to Google Chat this year. Google added the ability for space managers to configure sharing announcements or set up spaces for announcements on Google Chat. Now there is an option to reply in line. So if it's an announcement only space where users can't post new messages, but now they can reply to existing messages within those spaces. This is another exciting feature in Google Classroom, which lets you control what happens to submissions after the due date has passed, allowing the teachers to turn off submissions. So yeah, before you could still turn in submissions late if you're a student, but this gives teachers control over that feature and they can turn that off so that late submissions aren't accepted. This is something I've just been trying out on one of our demo domains. Essentially now you can use Google Cloud Directory Sync, but the cloud-based version in the admin console. And rather than syncing to your local Active Directory, you can sync to your Azure Active Directory and keep it all in the cloud. So quite an interesting feature to try if you are using Azure as your primary directory and syncing users from there. Perhaps you're already using SSO, but this is another interesting feature to explore there to allow you to keep your users and groups in sync.
Welcome to this demo on Directory Sync.
Let's skip that video. Line numbers and docs. I was quite surprised this one isn't already there actually, thinking about it, but yeah, now Google have added the ability to add line numbers to docs. Could be quite useful for certain types of docs. And I think we probably covered this one last month, but just to cover it again, you can now programmatically update and read working locations from Google Calendar using the Calendar API. And I definitely think we did this one last month as well. So you can now have up to 50,000 people in a chat space.